about to happen. So we are now recording. Welcome. Thank you guys for taking some time out of your schedules to either learn a little bit more about Club 20 or to refresh yourself. For those of you who have been county commissioners for a while, Club 20 is different than Colorado Counties Inc. It can be kind of elusive and difficult to understand, and I've been working here for 6 years. So if I think it's still a little bit elusive at times, then certainly you as new county commissioners must feel the same way, which is why we wanted to put together this training this morning. So as we begin, I don't know some of you, and I would love for a very, very quick round robin of introductions, just so I can familiarize myself with your name and which county you represent in the region. So I'm going to go ahead and call on folks. And I would love for you to just introduce yourself to me. I'm Christian Reese. I'm not sure I introduced myself to you all. I'm the executive director of Club 20. So I am going to call in the Brady Bunch order that is on my screen. And again, I'd just love to have you introduce yourselves to me and what county you're with. So I'll start with Sandy Hines.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry that I don't have my camera up and running. I am the county administrator for Hinsdale County. I'm relatively new, so I wanted to jump on here today and just listen. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sandy. And Robert Hurd.
Yes, I'm a newly elected Hinsdale County Commissioner.
Great representation from Hinsdale. I think Greg is also from Hinsdale. Is that correct?
You are correct.
I thought so. I was on the a meeting with you yesterday.
Yes, that was a good meeting.
Yes. Let's move over to Warren Brown.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Again, I'm Warren Brown. I am a newly elected commissioner in Archuleta County.
Excellent. Thanks for joining us. And now we'll move to Jake Neese.
Hello, Jake Neese here. Also newly elected in Uray County.
Perfect. Thanks for joining us. And Wendell?
Wendell Kuntz, first term for Delta County. I've also served as mayor of Hotchkiss. Christian, we've been in a number of meetings together over the years.
Yes, sir. Before I was with Club 20 even. So,
yeah.
Yep, that's right. Good to see you, Wendell. Cody?
Yeah, Cody Davis, Mason County Commissioner. This is my first term. Glad to be here.
Yes, congratulations. I believe you are my commissioner, so thank you.
Absolutely.
Christine.
Good morning. I'm also a Hinsdale County Commissioner. So we've got our full board here. Nice to see all your smiling faces.
Excellent. Thank you. Strong turnout from Hinsdale today. Ty?
Hi, good morning. Sorry, oh, there we go. Good morning, Ty Gates, Rio Blanco County, newly elected commissioner.
Excellent. Thank you, Ty. And we'll go over to Daniel. I can't hear you, Daniel. How strange. It doesn't say you're muted. Well, why don't you type it into the chat box so we can all see what county you're from. And thank you for joining us. I'm sorry your audio's acting up. This one is a Club 20 Executive Committee member, Michael. Are you there, Michael? He takes phone calls in the middle of, oh, there you are.
Yeah, no, guys, sorry. Good morning. After my rotator cuff surgery, you're not going to get my video, but everything's up and running and things are going good.
Good.
Hello. Man, we got the full contingent from Hinsdale. Thank you all for being here.
Strong turnout. Okay, and then quick introduction of other Club 20 staff members. Brittany, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Brittany Dixon, and I'm the policy and outreach representative here at Club 20.
And then Julia. Julia, you're muted. So Julia is our operations and communications representative. I'm not sure she's using a desktop, so she might be having some issues over there. So, and then the last person who just joined us, we'll give her a second, is Miss Liz Smith. Hi, Liz. Do you want to introduce yourself and what county you are representing?
Sure. My name is Liz Smith, and I'm County Commissioner for District 1 in Gunnison County.
Excellent. Thank you for joining us. I know you guys see each other at CCI Western District meetings, but I'm not sure outside of those meetings you get to see each other all that often. So thank you for bearing with me as we introduce ourselves and familiarize ourselves with which county everybody's from. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the presentation. As I said, I want to be respectful of your time. This is just a little bit of an overview of what I plan to cover today in our quick orientation. And it does seem like a lot, but hopefully it'll be painless. Feel free to interrupt me, ask questions. Don't wait till the end. Raise your hand, type them into the chat box. We've got our staff members keeping an eye on that chat box, or just unmute yourself and interrupt me. So please don't be shy. So we plan to go over quickly who Club 20 is, our staff, which you've been introduced to, the board and executive committee, board of directors and executive committee, and how those two groups are selected, our policy committees and the processes and why those are important, how we take positions on issues, how you as county commissioners should be using us as your advocates. We're going to talk a little bit about letters, Club 20 writing letters, Club 20 writing letters on issues, on letters of support for people applying for certain positions at the state level, on state boards and commissions, those sorts of things. We're going to quickly run through our events that we have throughout the year. A big question that counties ask all the time is how are their dues calculated, which is different from all of our other memberships. So we're going to run through that and a little example. The voting rights of each membership. And if there's time and interest at the end, I'll do a quick website tutorial so you guys can see how to navigate the website and use it to your advantage. So first and foremost, Club 20 is a very old organization in Western Colorado. We were founded in 1953. We are nonpartisan, nonprofit, membership driven. So we cover 22 counties that are predominantly all of the counties of the Western Slope. And though we didn't always cover 22 counties, hence the name Club 20, we started with 20 and then added 2 counties on a few years after we were founded. But we cover this broad region, and in this region, as you all know, as commissioners, very, very broad and differing political perspectives throughout this region. And what I tell people is we lock people in a room, give them an issue, and force folks to come up with consensus-driven solutions to the issues that are impacting Western Colorado. And while that's a little bit in jest because they don't actually lock the door, that's what we do. I mean, we bring people of differing perspectives together, of different backgrounds together, whether it's elected officials, business leaders, community leaders, or just really engaged individuals. We bring those folks together and we talk about what's important to Western Colorado, what issues are impacting our region and our way of life, and how we should address those issues. And then we do address those issues at the state and the federal level. So we are that builder of consensus-driven solutions. And throughout our region, we have over 1,100 members involved with Club 20, so a very, very broad group of people. We do our best to represent the 2 Ute Indian tribes. As I mentioned, dozens of chambers of commerce, of business organizations, nonprofit organizations, water districts, I mean, you name it, electric generators, you name it, truly they're involved with Club 20. So an extremely broad swath of leaders from the region, and even some from the Denver metro area. So we are membership based, and I think that's so important to stress, because ultimately the positions we take, the activities that we do as an organization come from the direction of our members. And if our members say, I always use the example of, if there's a bill to require everybody to wear purple shoes, if our members like that bill, then we are going to advocate for that, even if it seems silly. So truly our members influence our activities and our policies. They are the crux and the heart and soul of the organization. And I'm going to run through this org chart slide by slide here in a bit, but you can kind of get a feel for how we're structured. So at the depending on how you look at it, and from my perspective as staff, at the top of our organization is our primary leadership team, which it consists of our current board chair, who is Merritt Linke, who is a Grand County Commissioner and a rancher. Our past chair, which is Cindy Dozier, who's a former Hinsdale County Commissioner. And our incoming board chair, who is Brad McLeod, who is now he just did a job change, is the area manager for Excel's community relations. So he's our incoming chair. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm the executive director. We have Brittany on our team who does policy and outreach, and then Julia Courier does operations and communications. So we're just a staff of 3. We are small but mighty. And boy, we get a lot done with just 3 people and a whole slew of leaders and volunteers. So in case you haven't seen this, I wanted to put this on here, especially for county commissioners, so you can see who currently serves on the board of directors for Club 20 from your county. So we had a lot of folks from Hinsdale. The Murphys have strong representation here with Dan and Michael on here, and then Susan Thompson for Archuleta. We've got Mary Jo Coulihan and Mary Hunt. And then we had Gunnison with Liz. So that's Liz, Janet Farmer, and Julie Baca. And then of course Mesa's Lois Dunn, Brad McLeod, and Harry Perulis. And I may have missed some others who had joined the call. Rio Blanco, Gary Moyer, Jeff Rector, and Callie. A few points about our board of directors that I think you're going to find quite a bit different from how CCI elects their leadership. So at Club 20, the way that we elect our board of directors is that every other year, I personally travel to half of the counties, and we send an invitation out to all of the Club 20 members within that county. So for example, if Archuleta County is up for board elections, then I will go down to Pagosa Springs, and we will have sent out multiple emails to all of the members in Archuleta County, and we'll hold what's called a county caucus. So during that county caucus, I'll do a little bit of an update of what we've been doing at Club 20 over the last year. I usually ask the members to tell me what they're hearing, what their concerns are, what they need help with, and get that feedback. And then we elect board members. So anybody who has been a Club 20 member for at least 6 months is eligible to serve on the Club 20 board of directors. So we do that so people can't buy a bunch of memberships and then try to influence, who serves on our board. But as long as you've been a member for at least 6 months, you can serve on the board of directors. We have 3 board of directors positions for each county. So we have a primary voting member, we have a first alternate position, and a second alternate position. So if the primary member is not able to come to the board meeting, then the first alternate would fill that spot. And then of course, if the first alternate and the primary board member are not available, then it would be the second alternate. That's how it's structured. How it happens in real life is that typically all 3 board members show up to the board meeting and they talk to one another when voting on issues of Club 20 importance. And they either vote as a group, or there's been times where the board members have been divided on an issue. So we've taken a 1/3, 2/3 vote on an issue. And that's completely fine. It's just an opportunity for me to practice using my fractions. So practically speaking, that's how it tends to work out, is that all of the board members come up to the board meeting when we have those and work with one another. If for whatever reason, none of the board members are able to participate in the board meeting, then they can have another member represent them by filling out a proxy form, and they can attend on behalf of that board member. So that is an option. And then the last thing I want to stress here that is probably the biggest difference from CCI is that the Club 20 board elects individuals to serve on the board, not positions. So for example, Steve Child over in Pitkin County is a first alternate, and Steve is a county commissioner. If Steve gets termed out as a county commissioner, or, you know, God forbid, Steve resigns as a county commissioner, as long as he possesses a Club 20 membership, he can remain as a board member. Pitkin County is not allowed to say, well, Steve's not a commissioner anymore, so we're going to slide, you know, somebody else into that position on the board of directors. That is not how it works. And I know in some other organizations, you're able to switch people in and out like that. That's not how it works at Club 20. We elect individuals, not positions. So that can be confusing sometimes. So moving into our executive committee, and again, I'll run through this somewhat quickly because I'm sure you guys know a lot of these folks. As I mentioned, our board chair is Merritt Linke, past chair Cindy Dozier, incoming chair is Brad McLeod. Our executive committee secretary is Rachel Richards, who's a former Pitkin County commissioner. Our treasurer is Vance Wagner, who is the regional president of A&B Bank. Our membership chair, who helps us recruit new Club 20 members, is Ray Beck, who is a former Moffat County commissioner. Our Region 9 vice chair is Mary Jo Coulihan from Pagosa Springs. Our Region 10 vice chair is Nancy Fishering from Montrose. Our Region 11 vice chair is Jeff Comstock, who does natural resources policy for Moffat County. Our Region 12 vice chair is Tom Harned from Eagle. Our gold member representative is Edie Sun with Pinnacle Assurance. And then our chair appointments are Robbie LaValle from Delta, Sue Hansen, who's a county commissioner from Montrose, Michael Murphy, who's joining us today, he's from Hinsdale County, and then Tom Glass, who's up in the Frisco area. So the way that this all works is that the chair, the past chair, the incoming chair, the secretary, the treasurer, the membership chair are all, those people are all, a slate of them is put forward by a nominating committee, and then the board of directors would accept that slate of individuals to serve as executive committee officers. And sometimes the board does not accept them. We have a pretty entertaining history of there being some controversy there, which is always fun. So those folks are put together. Then what you can see on the slide here are the 4 regional vice chairs. And so this is where it gets a little bit convoluted, so stay with me. So every 2 years, the board of directors meets. And if you were keeping track on the last slide, 22 counties, 3 people per county means I have a board of over 65 people. And they all come to the meeting and they all have different opinions. We have a really big room and we make a chair for everybody. But every 2 years, when we are electing the executive committee, we caucus the board members by DOLA region. So all of the counties in Region 9, their board members would go to one corner of the room. All of the counties in Region 10, their board members would go to one corner of the room, and so on and so forth for all 4 DOLA regions in the Club 20 territory. They will select among themselves an individual to serve on the executive committee. That's how these 4 regional vice chairs are selected. And then gold members, who are members that are $5,000 a year in the corporate business level or higher, they get one person to represent their interests on the executive committee. And then the board chair gets to pick 4 people of their choosing to serve on the executive committee. So that's how this structure is all made up. So to recap, board of 65-ish people, executive committee of 15 people. The executive committee truly is my traditional nonprofit kind of board who I meet with every couple of weeks. They are the folks who can hire me and fire me. They're involved in operational decisions, and occasionally they can be involved in our positions on certain issues and pieces of legislation and that sort of thing. So that's the structure there. So moving into the heart of Club 20, we'll now get into our 10 policy committees. And this is how we do what we do here at Club 20, just like, as I'm sure, this is what drives CCI as well when you have those meetings. So we have 10 policy committees, and you can see them all on your screen there. They cover a variety of issue areas that impact our region. These committees are chaired for the most part by 2 different co-chairs, and those co-chairs are responsible for putting the meeting together, for building really good and relevant content for these meetings, and then helping to manage the discussion once we get to the resolution development process. So out of each of these committees, what we typically do is we have pro-con presentations on issues that are impacting the region in these issue areas. And then we develop a policy statement as a result of that conversation. And those policy statements, we call them resolutions. They start with some historical background on the issue, and then an action statement at the bottom that says, therefore be it resolved, Club 20 believes X, Y, and Z, or Club 20 opposes X, Y, and Z, whatever that action statement ends up being. So those are developed by our 10 policy committees. Those resolutions then go to our board of directors, who tend to wordsmith them a little bit more. And then they get ultimately approved by the board of directors. And then I can use those to take positions on issues at the state legislature, at the federal level. I can use those to provide testimony on regulatory issues, to write letters of support, opposition, you name it. Those resolutions can all be found on our website. So some of those, we made 5, 10, 15 years ago. We bring resolutions back about every 5 years just to reevaluate them, to make sure that they're still relevant, that the information in them is still current and accurate. And for those who have aged out, we can go ahead and delete those off of the books. So that resolution and policy development process is critical to our work. Our policy committees meet twice a year, once in the winter and then again in the summer. The winter meetings are held in Grand Junction, and there is always a Zoom option. So if you're not able to drive from Archuleta County up to Grand Junction for a day of meetings, no problem. You can just join us by Zoom. And that's something that will always be in place, not just because of the pandemic. Our summer policy committees are held out in the district. So we typically try to hold 1 week of meetings in the northern part of the region, and then 1 week of meetings down in the southern part of the region, because we know, I mean, I've traveled this region for 10 years now, and I know how hard it can be to get from Durango up to Craig for a set of meetings. So we try to disperse those out to make sure that we're not Grand Junction centric. But again, those summer policy meetings can be attended by Zoom as well. So this is just a little graphic here of how that process works. So again, you know, we try extremely hard to make sure both sides of an issue are represented so that we're not just hearing one side. We want to make sure we're taking thoughtful and informed positions on these critical issues. But you can kind of see visually how those policies are developed. And again, as I mentioned, existing resolutions are reconsidered every 5 years, and they go through this exact same process. So how should you use Club 20 as a county commissioner? First of all, one of the main activities that we do, especially this time of the year, is issue-based advocacy in the form of weighing in on legislation. We are constantly reviewing the bills that are being introduced, working with our other partners at Colorado Cattlemen's, you know, CCI, CML, wool growers, I mean, you name it, Farm Bureau, our water districts. We work with all kinds of groups to make sure that the positions we're taking are thoughtful and are in the best interest of our region and of our members. So if there is an issue that your county feels strongly about, or if you see a position that we took and you think we just got it wrong, just let us know. You know, we don't have a lobbyist. It's me and 2 team members reading 700 bills every session. So we don't always get it right, and that is okay. If you think that we, you know, maybe didn't consider everything in a position, just let us know and we'll take another look. So legislation is a big one at this time of year. Also regulation. We had a virtual town hall yesterday with John Messner from the Colorado Oil and Gas Conservation Commission to hear, you know, what the process is looking like for continuing rulemaking for oil and gas regulation pursuant to Senate Bill 181. So we have those opportunities to weigh in on regulatory issues. We also work on a variety of other areas, such as an example, there was a current Colorado Parks and Wildlife Commissioner who's up for reappointment, and one of our counties said, hey, will you rate this person a letter of recommendation for reappointment to the CPW Commission? Absolutely, glad to do it. You know, we're all in this together and want to make sure that the best people are serving in these roles. So as you can also imagine, we have an extremely expansive network of leaders. And, you know, it's funny, Michael Murphy is one that really utilizes this aspect of Club 20 a lot, where he'll call me and he'll say, hey, do we know somebody in renewable energy? I think I have a project. Or I've got somebody who's working on this renewable energy project. Can you connect me with the county commissioners in this county or city council in this county? Or, you know, we're looking to bring, you know, this kind of industry into our community. Do you know somebody? And odds are, if I don't know that person, I know somebody who does. And that's just because we have such a huge network, not only in Western Colorado, but also in Denver. I've talked a little bit about letters of support for positions. We also love to hear from you. So when there's opportunities, we'd love to have commissioners present at Club 20 meetings. One way we've been doing this most recently is a lot of the counties have been building out their own broadband infrastructure. And we have had regional updates on the status of those broadband build outs at our telecom committee so that we all know what's going on and how those different networks can tap into each other to create redundancy. So those kinds of opportunities exist. We also have a bunch of events, which I'm going to run through on the next slide here, that you should plan to attend. I mean, and I'll let you know which ones might be more beneficial than others, but they're fun, they're educational, and for goodness sake, once we're able to meet in person, I feel like everybody's going to come because we all are just craving human interaction. So please join us for those. And the Zoom option is most, like 9 times out of 10, it's going to be available. Lots of educational opportunities to learn, to get up to speed. It's like drinking from a fire hose when you're a new Club 20 member because we work on so many issues. There's really unique opportunities to influence elected officials, to meet with the governor, to get in the room with those people who are those top level decision makers. And then last but certainly not least, you know, like I've said a few times, we're all in this together and we want to promote Western Colorado as frankly the best side of the state. So we do that in partnership with all of our counties. So I'm going to run through some of our events here and give you an idea of as a commissioner, you know, what I think is critical to join in person versus ones maybe you can probably hit by Zoom. So our Voices of Rural Colorado Joint Legislative Visit is an event that we do in partnership with Action 22 and Pro 15. So if you haven't heard of those groups, they are Club 20 sister organizations in the southeast corner of the state, Action 22. They have the southeast corner over into the San Luis Valley, and they have Pueblo and up to the lower part of Colorado Springs. And then Pro 15 is the 15 counties in the northeastern corner of the state, all the way down to the Colorado Springs area. So our 3 organizations together represent 59 of Colorado's 64 counties. The only ones not represented are the Denver metro counties. So when you go to this event, there's typically 130 to 150 leaders from those rural parts of the state, all getting together, networking with one another. So this is a really fun one to participate in person. Because you can visit with some of those other county commissioners from other parts of the state, though I also realize you get to do that at CCI meetings. The winter policy committee meetings I went through a moment ago, you know, certainly it's always better to be in the room for these types of things, but policy meetings can easily be attended by Zoom. So should you not be able to make the trip, you'll miss out on the experience a little bit, but you'll still be able to be effective by Zoom. Our spring conference and awards banquet. So this is held usually the end of March, beginning of April in Grand Junction. And this is the platform I call musical speakers. So it's one of those types of meetings where we bring speakers in to give updates. We have panel discussions. They talk about an issue area, then we cycle them out and bring somebody new in. And this spring conference, we try to cover a variety of topics. So usually we try to hit healthcare, you know, we try to talk about some water issues, some public lands issues. It's really a smattering of the top things that are happening in the state at that moment. And then we host an awards banquet on Friday evening to honor those Club 20 members who've just gone above and beyond over the last, you know, year, 10 years, however long they've been involved with Club 20. So it's a really fun event to be able to attend in person. During non-election years, we do a Washington, D.C. fly-in where we bring about 20 to 35 Club 20 members out to Washington, D.C., and we meet with the top level decision makers out in DC. We usually do a dinner cruise on the Potomac River where people can let their hair down a little bit and have some fun. And it's a really, really intense couple of days. that we do not offer a Zoom option for. So if this is of interest, this is one that you would have to attend in person. That being said, I think it's highly unlikely that this event happens in person in 2021. So I would expect it to be conducted by Zoom this year. So that may open up an opportunity for those who maybe weren't able to travel out to DC for whatever reason. So stay tuned for that announcement. As a result of the pandemic, in order to engage our members more actively, we have developed a member-exclusive virtual town hall series where we are asking elected leaders, appointed leaders, industry experts to meet with our members and give a town hall style update and do some Q&A. So as I mentioned yesterday, we just concluded our town hall, virtual town hall with John Messner with the Colorado Oil and Gas Conservation Commission. Coming up, we're planning a beneficial electrification town hall with members, with participants from the oil and gas industry, from the climate area. I'm not sure exactly who yet. I've reached out to Citizens Climate Lobby to present on that from that perspective. But we're looking at having the contractors involved, the propane industry, all of those who can help give us both sides of the picture on beneficial electrification. I mentioned our summer policy committee meetings already. Again, those can be attended virtually if they are too far of a drive for you to be able to make. And if you pick one event to attend in person at Club 20, it is the fall conference and steak fry. So our fall conference, in non-election years, we bring in a variety of speakers to give updates, but our steak fry is a must not miss event. We typically have anywhere between 250 and 350 leaders from all over the state come to Grand Junction to attend a steak fry. It's outside, it's not fancy. I mean, everybody's in cowboy boots and button-up shirts. People are enjoying a drink and some steak and a whole lot of conversation, and it's just such a unique and fun event that truly people, like I can tell you, the Attorney General doesn't miss this event. Our senators usually don't miss this event. So it's a really incredible event to be able to attend in person. And during an election year, the fall conference is actually our candidate debates and steak fry. So the largest candidate debates in all of Western Colorado. We actually live streamed them this year and this last year, and are looking to do that again moving forward into the future. And then of course, county caucuses. You have to attend county caucuses in person or give your vote by proxy to somebody attending those meetings in person to be able to vote. Okay, so we're nearing the end here, so just hang with me. How are your dues calculated? So this is a question we get all the time. So we're going to use Mesa County here as an example. So your dues are calculated based on population. So that I'm going to start there and then we'll walk through what that actually looks like. So we take the most up-to-date population numbers, and so for example, Mesa County's population in 2019 was 154,210 people for the whole county. Then if there's cities within the county who have Club 20 memberships, that population is subtracted out of the county's population because we don't want you guys double dipping for the same people. So if City of Grand Junction joins, their population is 62,062 people. If Town of Palisade joins, there's another almost 2,700 people. And then if City of Fruita joins, there's 13,236 people. So we would subtract that out of the county's population, which would give Mesa County an adjusted county population of 76,216 people. So we would then take that adjusted population, multiply that by 7 cents. So our rate is 7 cents per person, which would give us a total of $5,335. We round those numbers, we tend to round down. So we would round that down to $5,000, and that would be Mesa County's dues for the year. So you can see as a county how it's beneficial to try to recruit your towns and cities to join Club 20 so that your due share is a little bit lower. That's definitely been helpful to some of those counties. I mean, if you can imagine Mesa County having to pay membership for all those 154,000 people, I mean, that would be nearly double. So it's definitely an incentive to encourage your towns and cities to join the organization. One thing that's important to emphasize is that no matter your membership level, every membership is entitled to 1 vote. So keeping with Mesa County can have as many people on their membership as they want to. So if all the county commissioners want to be on the membership, and the administrator, and maybe the attorney, and your finance person, maybe your road and bridge person, if you've got somebody on your team doing policy, maybe you put that person on your membership. Those individuals can all receive Club 20 communications. They can all attend our meetings. They are Club 20 members. But when it comes time to vote, they cannot all vote and have their vote counted multiple times. So they have to pick one person to represent that county's membership to vote on issues. So that's an important thing to distinguish. So you can add as many folks as you want to on your county membership. When we send out our invoicing for your county's membership, I try to send those out when you're planning your budget process, even though they're not due until the next year, because I don't want you guys to be surprised by anything. And we haven't changed our membership dues rate for our counties for as long as I am aware of. So there should never be a surprise theoretically, but we send those invoices typically out like in September, October, so that you can have them for planning purposes, but they're not due until the end of January the following year. So as part of that billing, we send out a contact verification form that has a listing of who we have on your county's membership. And if that needs to be updated, you just got to scratch through the names, write down the new people, and then send that back to us, or scan it and email it back to us. And we'll get your membership updated with the new contacts that need to be receiving communication. All of those folks are welcome to register for events. If they ever have issues doing that, they can contact our staff, and our staff will get them all squared away. So with that, that brings us to the end of my planned presentation, and I'll pause for a second because I want to make sure we answer any questions that may have come up. And then if you'd like, I'd be glad to show you our website real quick so you can see where to find resolutions, where to find announcements, that kind of stuff. So that was a lot. Questions, concerns, comments?
I do have a question. I'm sorry if I missed it, but you just mentioned how you would update your contact forms. But if we want to change the voting membership, how do you go about doing that? We've got I noticed on Erie County's list, we've got a former county commissioner who I don't think is active anymore. How does that process work?
So are you referring to the on our board?
On the board, yeah.
Yeah. So those individuals, like I mentioned earlier, so we elect individuals to serve on the board, not like a slot for the counties or a slot for a city to interchange somebody out. So if you, let's say, Jake, you just love yourself some Club 20 and you want to serve on our board of directors, you would need to attend Uray County's county caucus. and that calendar of events is on our website, but I can tell you, we are coming to Ouray County this year to elect board members. We did Gunnison this last year. So Liz, you got elected this last year. We have, so I'll just read the list off. So these are the 11 counties that are getting county caucuses this year, and thus will have board elections this year. So Delta, Ouray, San Juan, Montezuma, Eagle, Summit, Grand, Lake, Hinsdale, Rio Blanco, and Mesa. So if your county was not named, that means we're coming to you next year in 2022. So that would be your earliest opportunity to serve on the board of directors. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. But
so when there are voting issues, that is a matter of the county commissioners, not the board members.
so help me understand what you mean by voting issues.
We designate a primary voting member, first alternate, second alternate, and counties can split their votes if it's not full consensus.
So when I say
board
counties, I mean the Club 20 members of that county, not Ouray County, not like the governmental body of Ouray. So our board, because, you know, frankly, we want to make sure we are not all county commissioners on our board. We want businesses, we want individuals. So Club 20's board of directors is elected by the members of the county. And so the members of the county have the primary voting member, the first alternate, the second alternate.
Okay.
So Ouray County does, the governmental entity does not have those positions. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
Thanks.
Sorry, I use that term interchangeably, but I have to remember that when you guys hear Ouray County, you're thinking, you know, my county that I'm responsible for. Yeah. Liz?
Yeah, thanks so much, Christian. And I have to scoot to another meeting here in a minute, but I was wondering how it works with the different policy committees. Oop, my screen just disappeared. Can you?
Oh, I can still hear you and see you.
Okay. All right, well, I'll just go with it. So I know that there are the different policy committees that we can become engaged in, and I'm just wondering how we get on those lists to be informed about the meetings and attend and what that looks like.
So if you are not currently receiving Club 20's communications, you need to let us know, because there's either a problem on our end or a problem on your end. And it has happened on numerous occasions where we've had to work with the county IT department because Club 20's emails have gotten blacklisted. So that does happen, and we can work through it to figure it out, or we can use a personal email address if worse comes to worse. So you should be receiving those communications about our events, about, you know, our monthly newsletter, all of that fun stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm not, so that's helpful.
We will take care of that.
And so do those committees just meet periodically at various times? How is that?
No, the policy committees meet twice a year, once in the winter and then once in the summer. Okay. So those are the only two times that the policy committees meet. And we do send communications out to our general membership list when those committees are meeting. Now, when you join Club 20 and you guys, you didn't get this opportunity because your county has already had memberships. But, you know, if Liz Smith wanted an individual Club 20 membership, on our membership form, there's the opportunity to check some boxes as to what committees are of the most interest to you. And then we would add your communication, your email address to those specific committees. The only time that gets used for anything is when there's like an immediate need for engagement. So if, let's just say, Liz, that you were super interested in the tourism committee and there was legislation coming down the pike that outlawed tourism in Colorado, we would send a communication out directly to those tourism committee members that said, we need you to call so-and-so and email this person, and here's some talking points, and, you know, the normal call to action that I think you guys have probably all seen before. That doesn't happen all that often. So it's there if we need it, but we don't really use it. We do most of our communication through our general membership communications. So we'll look into that and we'll get you fixed.
Okay, thanks so much.
Of course. What else? Jake, I feel like you have more on your mind.
I've always got something on my mind.
I see the wheels churning in there.
Your last slide had your contact info. Yeah. Can I see that again and maybe give you a call or email?
Can. So, and that's another thing, guys. I am always available. If you want to talk politics, I'm here. If you want to get more details on a position that we took, or want to, you know, whatever the conversation looks like, you can always call me, you can text me, email me. Truly always available to our members. And I shouldn't advertise this, but I'm typically available at all times of the day. Though I have had a few county commissioners text me at 11 o'clock at night, and you won't get a response back if you choose to do that. So. Any other questions? Let's see what's in the chat here. Okay, not seeing any questions in the chat. So I'm going to do one more thing. I know we just have a couple more minutes, and like I said, my life is 90 miles an hour, so I'm certain yours is as well. So I'm just going to try to show you the website here real quick. So this is the Club 20 website, and you can visit this just by going to club20.org, and then you'll land here. One of the most useful features on our website that people don't know about is right here in the corner of the screen here. Let me move this little box. The corner of the screen here is a plus button. If you click on that plus button, you can search our website to find key terms. So let's just say you type in water, and you're going to pull all of the resolutions that we have on our books that talk about water. Let's say you want to talk about telecom, same thing. So you can use that little plus feature there to search our website. If you want to connect with us on social media, those buttons are here. You can click on the logo to take you back to the home page. This is where you would log in to your membership, and through this member login, you can register for events. You can update the information on your membership. You can see who is a Club 20 member, and you can communicate with Club 20 members all through this member login. Now, I know that some of you have had difficulties with the member login, and that certainly happens. The reason that happens is because you're new county commissioners and we don't have your email addresses into our system yet. You can just reach out to Club 20 staff and they can get you all squared away. I know it's kind of a pain in the neck, but once we do it the first time, you should be good to go. Also, typically, I don't think Julie is logged into it at the moment, but usually in the bottom corner here, there is a little icon that has a chat bubble. And so you can instant message with Julia on our team or Brittany on our team if you're having problems getting into the website. So that most of the time is available unless they're on a call or they're working on something. So this is where you find information about becoming a member, just some general stuff that we're working on here. And then this part of the landing page is where we're going to post announcements, where we're going to have news articles or calendar of events is listed here. Information about our winter policy committee meetings, upcoming virtual town halls. You can pay your membership dues online if you'd like to. So this is really kind of the main section for announcements. And then these are some of our top level members down here. So I'm going to quickly scroll back up to the top here. Again, you can get more information about upcoming events, historical information about Club 20 here. If you want to see who's on our board of directors or executive committee, you can click on this leadership link, and then there's a PDF of those lists listed there. Legislative information and then policy is probably the section of the website you're going to use the most. So the legislative directory shows the elected leaders at the state level for all of our 22 county Club 20 region, and it has their contact information, their committees that they're on, their email addresses, all of the information that you would want to know. You can click on 2021 state legislative session to see, oh, see, there she is. Now you can see the little chat instant message feature. Thanks, Julia, for putting that up there. In the legislative session, the state legislative session section, you can take a look at the bills that we're keeping an eye on, and then the bills we actually took positions on by clicking these links. So it's going to pull up, and I haven't taken too many positions yet, but should you pull that up, this is showing what we did in 2020, so you can see what positions we actually took. And then one of the other most commonly used sections is our policy section. So again, here you can go over to our resolutions and click on them by category and get an idea of where we come down on an issue. Some categories have more resolutions than others, but there are a lot of resolutions listed here. And like I said, they're all searchable. If you're trying to find something quickly, you can just use that search feature. And then this is another item that might be of interest. Every year I convene all 10 of our policy committee chairs and the executive committee, and we have a conversation about what we think our top issues are moving into the next year, and we try to narrow that down as best we can. But that document is here, and that helps kind of guide us throughout the year. And our resources tab, again, just has general information, Colorado boards and commissions directory. We need to get more Western Slopers on these boards and commissions. It's extremely important. So we try to share that information as often as possible. And then we also have links to our partners over at Action 22 and Pro 15, who we work with very, very closely on issues. So that's a super fast tour of our website, just so you guys can better understand how to use it and really make the most of your membership. So that's all I have for you today. What other questions do you have for me before we adjourn? One other thing I'll throw out there, which it's not really possible at the moment, but before COVID, we were getting in the habit, I was getting in the habit of maybe once a quarter coming to your county commissioner meetings in person or zooming into them, just to give a little bit of an update of what we've been doing, what we've been working on. And if that would be beneficial to you, please let me know. I'd be glad to give updates. If you are part of a Rotary Club, a Lions Club, and you guys are scrounging for speakers, I would be glad to present, or somebody from my team. So please feel free to reach out. Robert says, so as board members from our county, 3 of them under Hinsdale County membership, did the county pay for? Okay, great question. Those are all, so Hinsdale County is Dan Murphy, who has an individual membership, Mike Murphy, who has an individual membership, and then Susan is on the county's membership. So we try to avoid, it's not a hard and fast rule, but we try very hard to avoid counties filling all 3 of those positions. because again, we're not CCI West. We want to make sure we have individuals and businesses represented on the Club 20 board. But we have some areas where it works out that way. And it's, like I said, it's not a hard and fast rule. It's just kind of discouraged to have, let's say to have, Greg and Christy and Susan all filling those 3 seats on our board. We would prefer not to do that, but if that's how the county votes, that's how the county votes. What else? Okay, well, if you think of other questions down the pike or want to visit, just shoot me an email and we will get you all squared away. It's nebulous and hard to understand, so I get it. And yet, even if you ask me the same question 12 times, I've probably asked myself the same question 12 times. So don't be afraid to reach out. So thank you guys for your willingness to be elected officials. It is a thankless task. Your grocery store shopping will never be the same because everybody will be wanting to, as a former congressional staffer, I get it. Everybody wants to give you their opinion. So I understand. So thank you guys for your service to our region. And I hope to see you at some Club 20 events soon.
Thank you, Christian.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day. Happy weekend.
Bye.
Thank you.